That's my biggest nitpick of the episode. Everybody else did good making it out on their own, so it's kind of disappointing to see Johnny fail. But he makes up for that by using his flames to scare off Mole Man's minions and destroy a boulder he tried to drop on Reed and Ben, so it does even out. Interestingly, this episode is actually an original story made for the show with a reference to a previous unseen encounter with the Mole Man. As good as some of the adaptations were, I kind of wish that most of the episodes had been original stories like this. Regardless, this is my favorite episode from either of my favorite Fantastic Four series with the Mole Man because amongst other reasons, he is shown as a formidable foe here. Aside from his traps, when Ben confronts him, he turns out the light so that he has trouble fighting him. Even when all four of our heroes reunite, he's not out yet.
You've escaped my many traps, but final victory shall be mine. This chute leads to my master control room. Not even your powers can prevent me from throwing the master switch. You shall have no world to save. The victory is mine!
Reed says for the others to let him go as he sabotaged his master control room, so they need to escape before he activates it, and after a couple other quick fights, they manage to make it to safety, ending the episode. While I still think that the way it all began is the better way to start the series, I can see this episode working as the pilot just as well.
What will we do about Mole Man?
It looks like Mole Man is taking that job off our hands, Susie. Looky here.
Right, Ben. Once he threw the switch, he sent his own island with all its deadly weapons to the center of the earth. I think we've seen the last of the maniacal Mole Man.
I hope so, Reed.
Yeah, good riddance.
Number 4. Blastar, the living bomb burst. One of Reed's experiments results in him getting sucked into the negative zone. Johnny flies into this dimension to free him by using his flame to blast a rock which blows them back to Earth, but they unknowingly free the titular character.
I know not what world I have entered, but the beings here will be no match for the power of Blastar.
They do a really good job building up the threat of Blastar. It begins with the Fantastic Four watching a planet and noticing that a great battle is being fought before we zoom in on it and are treated to some of the best backgrounds in the entire series as we see an alien race managing to subdue Blastar after a great battle, then imprisoning him in a titanium suit. None of this was in the comic. We first saw Blastar inside his metal prison being dumped on the asteroid. By the way, he was the most recent villain to appear on this show, with his debut in the comics less than a year before the first episode, and they even came up with a backstory for him. It ended up being contradicted in a future comic, but kudos to Hanna-Barbera for trying to come up with something.
Perhaps we can reason with him. Why do you wish to destroy us? What have you got to gain?
I am Blastar, the sole survivor of an exploded planet. Everywhere I have tried to make a home, I have been attacked and scorned. I will avenge myself on all creatures, and it is from this planet I shall wreak my destruction.
Blastar may very well be the most dangerous and toughest villain in the series. He is shown wrecking tanks and cars, making this the most violent episode. All of the Fantastic Four take turns throwing everything they have at him, but nothing really works. Even Sue's force field fails to halt him for long. It takes Reed's brain to come up with a way to stop him, but it was the other three holding him off which gave him time to prepare the device that defeats Blastar, and it's this sense of teamwork that really makes this one of my favorite episodes.
There he is. He's going back to where he came from.
Well, he sure saved us a lot of trouble.
How's that, Ben?
He's exiled himself from Earth forever.
I hope so, Ben. I really hope so.
Number 3. The 3 predictions of Dr. Doom. The Fantastic Four's arch-nemesis has returned, with a machine that can cause tidal waves and, as the title suggests, 3 predictions.
First, I shall remove the heart of the Fantastic Four. Secondly, I remove your greatest strength. And my third and last, the strongest power will conquer all.
He doesn't waste any time in carrying out his first prediction when he captures Sue. I must say, I really do like this description of her, as I always did see Sue as the heart of the team, often breaking up fights between Ben and Johnny. Reed is of course the brains, Johnny is the spirit, and Ben is the body. While Doom holds Sue hostage to prevent our heroes from stopping his plan to rule the world, they manage to track down his airship fortress and board it, only to find the not-so-good doctor waiting for them with his sporoid men, who are armed with a device designed to remove their powers. The Thing takes a full hit before Johnny manages to vaporize the sporoid men. We then see that Dr. Doom's second prediction has come true, as the Thing turns back into Ben Grimm, removing the Fantastic Four's strongest member.
I have removed your greatest strength. The Thing is just a human.
Quick, Johnny. We've got to find the control room.
I'm back to normal, the way I've always wanted to be.
You can thank me, Ben Grimm. I offer you a chance to escape and go back to Earth.
Not a chance, Doom. Not while my pals are in danger.
Doom mocks Ben by showing him the others placed in death traps. To fully appreciate what comes next, let me discuss an earlier episode where the master alchemist Diablo hypnotized Ben into freeing him, then serving him by giving him a potion that partially restored his human appearance with the promise that he'll become fully human after a year of serving him. Ben's so desperate to get his human form back that he's even willing to fight his friends. Not surprisingly, it all turns out to be a trick. This is another episode in the better half of the series, being a faithful adaptation of issue number 30. However, with that in mind, it makes the scene where Ben uses the device to reverse the process even better.
This is the only way, even if it means turning back into the Thing for the rest of my life. Here goes. It's working. I feel it. My strength is coming back. It's clobbering time. Hang on, gang. Oh, blue-eyed Benji's on the way.
I know it's just plain common sense, but it honestly feels like a rare moment of character development for a 60s animated series. Interestingly, this is an original story, but some scenes feel straight out of the comic.
Don't bust your knuckles on that steel door. Let Torch cut through it for you.
Oh, I can get through there quicker than he can.
Is that so, my brawny friend? Watch!
The climax is about as exciting as an action cartoon from the 60s can get, with Sue being the MVP by using her force field to save them from being immobilized in steel, and then using it again to make a crack in the floor, softening it up enough to provide oxygen for Johnny to use his flame again. It just goes to show that even when she gets captured, Sue can still make up for that by saving the others later. The team naturally manages to stop Doom.
Your third prediction has come true. The strongest power has conquered after all.
I refuse to be captured by the likes of you.
He's opening the escape hatch.
I missed. I couldn't grab him.
He'll need his best devices to come out of this.
Even if he didn't appear in another episode after this, we all know that Doom is going to be fine. That's something you'd learn in Superheroes 101. The arch-nemesis always comes back no matter what perilous predicament he was last left in. Number 2. Galactus. The Fantastic Four see a strange phenomenon going on in the sky. The one responsible is the alien Uatu the Watcher, who is attempting to hide the Earth from a being known as the Silver Surfer. Unfortunately, he sees through the illusion and summons his master, the Devourer of Worlds, Galactus. I recapped the basic plot just to be safe, but I'm pretty sure that most Fantastic Four fans are familiar with this story, as it is one of the most famous Fantastic Four comics ever, with some calling it one of the greatest comic book sagas of all time. I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but it certainly was a high point of the Lee Kirby run. This episode, despite adapting plot from 3 issues into 22 minutes, does an excellent job compressing everything without rushing through it, although it does tone down Galactus's past conquest.
This planet contains all the energy I need to sustain me. I shall drain it, as I have drained countless worlds in countless galaxies.
But the other worlds were dead. No harm was done. There are billions of living beings on this Earth.
Their fate can be no concern of Galactus.
Says you, Big Mouth. We'll make it your concern.
But that's just to be expected for a 60s cartoon. On that note of toning things down, the only bad thing I can say about this episode is that Susan is the one to convince the Silver Surfer that humanity is worth saving. Which in and of itself is not a bad plot point, as it makes perfect sense that Sue's compassionate nature would win over a being like him. No, the problem is that in the comics it was Ben Grimm's girlfriend, the blind sculptress Alicia Masters, who tended to the Surfer after he was knocked around by the Thing. Alicia never appears in the Hanna-Barbera series at all. In some ways, I can understand why, as she would make the stories too emotionally complex for 60s Saturday morning television, but at the same time I feel that she would have added a lot to the series. Even if she ended up being shipped with somebody else, Alicia and Ben were a great couple for a long time. Perhaps this is why the 90s series made the first supervillain the team fought her stepfather Philip Masters, aka the Puppet Master, so as to bring her in almost immediately and right the biggest wrong of the 60s series. But ultimately, that is still just a nitpick. This is a very good adaptation of the Galactus saga, possibly the best one we'll ever see. It's downright mind-blowing to see Hanna-Barbera treating the source material with this much respect. Some of the scenes feel like they came straight off the page.
Brace yourself for what is before you. You are now entering the celestial barriers, known as unlife. To touch them is to perish.
The Silver Surfer defects and tries to aid in the battle against Galactus, but even with his help our heroes are no match for him. Fortunately, the Watcher succeeded in guiding Johnny to Galactus's home and helping him retrieve the one weapon that can stop him, the ultimate nullifier.
In the name of Cosmos, be careful. You hold the means of destroying a galaxy, to annihilate a universe.
And should the universe crumble, can Galactus survive?
You did this, Watcher. Only you have the power. You have given a child who lives in a powder keg a match to play with.
Agreed. But this world belongs to these so-called children.
By the way, that's Ted Cassidy voicing Galactus. While not my favorite Galactus, he does a great job in the role. Funnily enough, this wasn't the last time he provided a voice for a Fantastic Four cartoon, as he voiced the Thing in the 70s series. Personally though, I think that he works better as Galactus than Ben Grimm.
The game is ended. The prize is lost. But I have seen the glint of glory within the race of man. It shall one day lift you to the stars, or bury you in the ruin of war. The choice is yours. Farewell.
Galactus promises to leave Earth alone and find another planet if Reed turns the ultimate nullifier over to him, which he does. Everybody parts on good terms, aside from Galactus warning the Silver Surfer that he should beware encountering him again. This episode came really close to being the high point of the series for me. If they had been able to include Alicia, perhaps by making this a 2-part story, it would probably be my favorite. But this is one time second place isn't a bad spot to be in, especially seeing as how this is still more faithful and entertaining than any of the big budget blockbuster movies that attempted to adapt the storyline. Such is the power of good 60s animation. Talent and passion will always triumph over the low budget.
I shall not forget you, all of you. But now there are new planets to explore, new wonders to discover. And then someday when my wanderlust is stilled, then perhaps I shall return. Farewell. Bye.
He would have been fun.
Yeah, and I almost had a roommate.